Hey, how's it going? This is Hayes or Zach. Most of you guys know me as Hayes. So I just got done working on this little spreadsheet here. I'm in a Discord server for a FiveM community, and they're having a problem here with a lack of activity amongst general membership, their business owners, and the faction leadership. The factions being like the LSPD, Marshals, EMS, and DOJ. So their emergency services, and then the DOJ. They're just noticing a lack of just general activity. No one is showing up to the server, and no one's really being active. So the question that I posed was, can this membership information that is on their Discord with like all the members and then their roles, can that information help provide insight into the activity problem? So yeah, this might be, and I know that this is an issue that many communities face with a lack of activity, and I'm aware that this is a FiveM community, but this is applicable to more than just FiveM servers. This is applicable to all gaming communities. So I wanted to just do a little short video outlining part of how I was trying to diagnose this issue and come up with some possible solutions. So the first thing that I did is I made a spreadsheet with their members. On the left here is the members, but I just minimize that so then there's some anonymity, so then people don't call people out or anything like that. If you're a member of this community, you could probably tell what community this is, but yeah, nonetheless, so this is a sheet which has all the different information, and I tried to figure out which was most pertinent for what I was trying to do, and then also what was available as far as the roles that I could see. So I had the usernames, of course, then I had if they were whitelisted, and then in this community, everyone is whitelisted at the moment. It's a newer community. I think everyone is just getting whitelisted. So yeah, whitelisting. If they're a business owner, if they're a member of staff, and then what their staff roles are. And if they have several, it lists them with the comma delimiter. And then you have, if they're LEO, EMS, DOJ. LEO includes LSPD and the Marshals. And then the agency and rank if that was available. So I went through all the members. I think they had like 80 something members in their community. I went through and I documented all this, and I turned this into a table. So if you just like select everything, you go to format and then convert to table, it converts this to a table so you can do some more interesting stuff with it. Most importantly, what I wanted to do is be able to like see who all is law enforcement and see some of the different information, how many leadership there are, just see like the different compositions of these different groups. But one thing that I noticed with this, and when you do this for your groups and whatnot, it might be different. But one thing I noticed with this group in particular is that their staff members are involved in a lot of different things, which is good. It's good to have some active people, and they were active, so they probably got added onto the staff team. As you can see here, as admins, as head admins, community manager, so on and so forth. But when you have a member of the community that is involved in like many, many different things, then their ability to perform well at any one of those several things starts to diminish because of just some rigid constraints of time and energy. There's only so many hours in a day. There's only so much energy that you can output in a day, as far as like what you can do before you get tired and you just like don't want to do it anymore. I mean, you could do things like caffeination, energy drink, stuff like that, but like that's a pretty rigid constraint, time and energy. So when you have several different roles assigned to one of your members and you notice that they're starting to underperform in some of those different roles, you might want to look at that and reevaluate how many leadership roles they're involved in, because they might say that they can do it, but really based on your expectations and what you would want from them in those roles, they might not be able to do it. And one thing I noticed is a lot of people have a hard time. I won't say a lot of people. Some people have a hard time saying no to new opportunities. If you flash them a new fancy role, a new high-ranking position, they'll take it. They won't necessarily think about, do I have the time for this? I just got a new job. Can I fit this into my job schedule, like my IRL job schedule? They don't think about that. They just see a new role. They think of, oh, if I get this new role, then I'll have less people telling me what to do, and I'll be able to do the things that I want to do that I think is best for this community. And although that might be good and they might have good intentions, they might not be able to fully give that role or all those roles the time that it needs. For example, you have this individual. I'm not saying this individual is doing a bad role, a bad job, but this individual is a community manager, which in a FiveM community, like that's a pretty big deal. Well, in any online community, being a community manager is a pretty big deal. They're also a head admin, which again is another hefty role. And then they're a developer, which is a hefty role within FiveM. Just developing the server with the different scripts that they might have, dealing with like maybe maps, dealing with clothing and like EUP, dealing with vehicles, adding in vehicles, doing handling, debadging vehicles, stuff like that. So this individual has 3 roles. And I know personally that this person has like a job IRL that they have to do, and they have bills and whatnot to pay for. So their ability to do all 3 of these roles at a very high level is probably not likely. If they were to just have one of these, they would probably like hit it out the park. But the fact that they have 3 means that they have to then take the burning issues in like these 3 departments and then prioritize and execute based off of that instead of just having the community problems. Now they have the development problems, administration problems, and the community management related problems. So yeah, that's just one thing, but you can learn a whole bunch of different stuff just by making a sheet like this. I know, in FiveM, when you have different factions, they sometimes have rosters, which is good. Discord, they have the ability for, I don't know what role you need, but you have the ability to see the members and see the roles that you're given to them all, and that could be pretty insightful. I don't have access to that, so that's why I had to make this this spreadsheet here. But yeah, just having a list and a breakdown of all the different members and all the different things that they're involved in can be really useful. And I'll just talk about, so yeah, this is the sheet that had all the different information. As you can see, you have like the marshals, you have some people in the DOJ, here you have some EMS, you have a captain in the LSPD, you have a variety of different things you can glean here. And then you have just like a whole bunch of members that are just whitelisted civilians. Some of them are business owners, some are not. Yeah. So I went over here and I basically just like wrote down some of my initial thoughts. There's a lot of leadership roles filled to get the city rolling, is what I noticed. I looked at the amount of like dedicated individuals. So in this example, dedicated means that individual is only like assigned to that faction. So that individual is only assigned to the LSPD, which means they're not a part of other factions. They're not a part of the marshals, EMS, DOJ, and they're not a business owner. So they don't have any conflicting, and they're not part of staff. So they don't have any other conflicting duties that might interfere with their role, whatever it is, in that one specific faction. Those are what I'm calling dedicated members. And I know that you can have people that are involved in several factions and they're very dedicated. This is just the term that I came up with here. If you do something like this, you can call it whatever you want, but I called it dedicated. So I figured out the total number of dedicated members within each of these, and then the number of total members. And I came up with a different percentage points. And then really important is the amount of dedicated leaders. And for all of these, all of the leaders are involved in either they either have a business that they run in the city, they're a part of staff, or they are a member of another faction. For example, one of the individuals, like one of these, I think it's the assistant chief of EMS, is also one of the key leaders. I think he's a chief justice down here at the DOJ. That's a lot of dip on the chip for one individual in a new city when you have to like set the foundation and the bedrock for a good experience in these different factions. That individual might be able to do it, but I mean, you just have to, as a leader that is like hiring these individuals for these roles, you have to be able to assess that when you're interviewing these people to see, okay, yeah, this individual has the time and effort and capabilities to man both of these roles at the level that I would expect. Yeah, so I just did a breakdown of this. You could do whatever breakdown you want. The overall goal here is just to get an understanding of any problems that you might be having just by looking at your membership information. So yeah, I did that, and then also I came up with some different like solutions. But yeah, this is just an example. And I wanted to make, I mean, this isn't really a quick video anymore. It's like 11 minutes, but I wanted to make a video where I walked through this, because I don't know, some people might know about this. This might be like a common sense type thing. And for some leaders, this might be eye-opening, and might spark some ideas in their head. I'm most familiar with the FiveM community and the Arma 3 community. I know in Arma 3, people have Orbats, so having something like this is very common. In FiveM, I don't think it's very common to have like a community-wide form like this that goes through all the members. I know it is common, though, to have a roster for the different factions. Like the LSPD will have a roster, the State Patrol will have a roster, like this auto shop will have a roster, EMS will have a roster, but there's no like community-wide roster. And I know that could be pretty rough because you can have hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of members in your server. But I think it's a pretty good idea to do to help diagnose some problems. It's just it just gives you some more information to work with, and information is really good when solving community problems. But if you found this useful, share it out to your folks. And if you didn't find it useful, please say something in the comments section. Give me some feedback. But yeah, even if you did find it useful, also say something in the comments section. But yeah, have a good one. Peace.